right. All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Loyam La Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai Ba'asham Rachak Wadash. A double honors to the apostles, elders of great millstone. Salutations to you. I can push on the work in truth and in sincerity. All right. So I just came across this article this morning. All right. I actually seen it yesterday, but I guess the spirit had it pop out again, and it says Congress is supersizing the IRS. Here's why. That's bad news for everyday Americans. All right. And so now the closer we get into the end, the tighter the squeeze. All right. And this devil, okay, well, the Lord is going to allow this devil to pretty much, bring that distress. Okay. And, rightfully so, because, to hell with this society, to hell with these proud people. And I know in a way this might affect us as well. But again, we know that we're at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article. This is Congress. Again, Congress is supersizing the IRS. Here's why. That's bad news for everyday Americans. All right. Americans love their fast food supersized. All right. But supersizing the Internal Revenue Service, probably not so popular. That's evidently of little concern to a majority of Congress lawmakers. All right. And what you start to figure out is that the people that's in power, the government, they love ruling on certain things to tighten the squeeze on the everyday average, a citizen. All right. So, I seen an article yesterday that said that they were going to extend the PPP loan investigation for 10 more years, and we already know that was a ploy, that was a trap, that was a snare, to put people in debt, also to expand, their the little, the prison, all right, prison, or to throw people in jail, because that's what the trend is going to be, more control, more of a policed society, okay, even with the smallest things, all right, and that's where we headed to, okay. So it says lawmakers are poised to pass a large tax and spending bill, which Biden is eager to sign, that would increase IRS funding by an astounding $80 billion. The legislation provides 14 times as much funding for enforcement as in fishing expedition audits. Wow. Than it does for taxpayer services, such as answering the phone, according to Ben Susser of Americans for Tax Reform. The IRS would more than double its workforce under this legislation, Joe Simpson reports for the Washington Free Beacon. In fact, the supersized IRS will boast more employees than the State Department, the FBI, Border Patrol, and the Pentagon combined. All right, and we already know that the dollar it has no value. All right, and that it's a debt note. Okay. And so what do you see? You see these auditors being given extended powers, or, to, enforce, I guess you could say, enforce more of the stringent laws, okay, to further, prove that, you people are enslaved, y'all slaves, y'all debt slaves, okay? All right. So continue. It says advocates of increased IRS funding argue that this will raise revenue for a central government. All right. Government spending projects and crack down on rich billionaire tax cheats who aren't paying their fair share. But here are two reasons everyday Americans should be concerned by such a drastic expansion of the IRS, expanding a rogue agency without accountability. The IRS has abused its power in recent years with little to no real accountability. For example, under the Obama administration, the IRS specifically targeted conservative nonprofit groups in what was a massive scandal. More recently, IRS employees illegally leaked the private tax documents of wealthy private citizens who weren't breaking any laws to the media in order to make a political partisan point in favor of increasing taxes on the rich. All right, this is Phil Kerpen. Lois Lerner is retired with full pension and never suffered any consequences for weaponizing the IRS against conservatives. All right, and then this is the war in between the Egyptians, the division that the Lord is bringing to this world that we live in. All right, nothing happened to Lois Lerner, who oversaw the IRS during the Obama era scandal. All right, of course they reward their their servants. It says, and while the IRS says it is investigating the tax leaks, all right, nothing has come out of that so far. Shocker. All right, these are just two examples of the IRS. Many recent scandals and abuses of its power. Why on earth would we want to expand their resources and power with this track record and no real accountability? Proponents say we have nothing to fear if we have nothing to hide. Look, Eric Garcia. And these are the people that's part of that NWO. All right, they're gonna make it a living hell for the average person. It says only a tax cheat would be mad at the hiring of more IRS workers. A tax cheat. It's funny how in the school system they don't even teach you about taxes or how to financial literacy or anything, because this society is built on capitalizing on the ignorant. All right, making a monopoly out of people that don't understand or haven't been taught anything. All right. It says, can you understand how 87,000 new IRS agents would scare the heck out of millions of Americans? All right. And, I find it, ironic with the demic that's going on. They're adding more to their arsenal. So, not only are they setting up shortages and fear-mongering tactics with these pestilences that's just popping out of nowhere. Now they're going to come after people's pockets, and penalize the average everyday citizen. All right, which we already know that's because these people are proud as hell, and this is just one of many things that we got to deal with. Okay, Democrat Senator Ben Cardin, if there's no reason to be fearful, and if you pay your taxes and if you comply with our laws, you should want to make sure everyone else does that. All right. And there's nobody to audit the IRS. Okay. And we already know this is a big scandal in itself, the IRS. Okay. Because not even the feds can audit the IRS. All right. And all it is really, because I'm not too deep on it. I don't know too much about, the things that they do specifically. But again, it's just to expand tyranny. All right. So let's play this video really quick.
Can you understand how 87,000 new IRS agents would scare the heck out of millions of Americans?
Well, millions of Americans aren't going to be impacted by that other than getting better service from the IRS, having their telephone answered, getting the questions they need in order to comply with our tax laws. The auditing is going to be focused on those of high income, the large corporations, etc. So there's no reason to be fearful. And if you paid your taxes and if you comply with our laws, you should want to make sure everyone else does that.
All right, so I wanted to look up these two things, feudalism and fascism, really quick. All right. I'll look up feudalism. If I'm spelling it right. Yeah. Because I did some research a while back. In fascism, because I know they say that is secretly what America is all about. All right, feudalism, the dominant social system in medieval Europe, in which the nobility held lands from the crown in exchange for military service. Okay, and vassals were in turn tenants of the nobles, while the peasants, villains of serfs, were obliged to live on the lord's land. All right, so let's see, fascism. I don't know, Salakia, it's just, let's see. All right, is this fascism? Is it far right, authoritarian, ultra nationalist political ideology, philosophy, and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, all right, autocracy, Salakia, militarism, forcible suppression of, suppression of opposition, belief in a natural society, social hierarchy, subordination of individual interest for the good of the nation and race, and strong regimentation of society and the economy that rose to prominence in the early 20th century. The first fascist movements emerged in Italy during World War I before spreading to other European countries, such as Germany. Fascism also had inheritance outside of Europe. Opposed to democracy, pluralism, free market capitalism, anarchism, all right, liberalism, conservatism, socialism, communism, Marxism. Fascism is placed on the far right wing with the traditional left-right spectrum. Okay. And basically what's happening is this is becoming all the isms, fascism, feudalism, all of that stuff in one in America, because this is a dictatorial move. All right, let's see. 3 basic features of fascism. Roger Griffin describes fascism as a genus of political ideology whose mythical core and its various permutations is a palingenetic form of populist ultranationalism. Oh, goodness gracious. Ultranationalism. Griffin describes the ideology as having 3 core components: the rebirth myth, the populist ultranationalism. Yeah, they ain't making no sense because, all right. Look at that. It says, was an example of fascism. The Nazi Party, led by Adolf Hitler, espoused a form of fascism that incorporated fervent anti-Semitism. All right. And we know Semitism goes back to Shem, all right, or Shem, which are the descendants of the Hebrews, all right. Anti-communism, scientific racism, and that's what we're dealing with in this society. all right, with the LGBTQA, all right, and with their war on biology and all this other stuff that they're setting up. It says in the use of eugenics into its creed, and simply that's what's happening now, all right. Okay, one might say, oh, well, what about Roe versus Wade? Well, that's just another dictatorial move that they're doing to take away certain rights, which you could still get abortions. You just have to, you know, go out your way, so to speak. So, Salak, let's go back. All right. So bear with me. I just wanted to check something out really quick. Let's see where we at. Okay, we read. All right, so part 2. Cracking down on the working and middle class, not the rich. It says Americans are struggling right now under the crushing weight of inflation, facing a shrinking economy and declining real wages. The last thing they need is a tax crackdown from their friendly neighborhood IRS agent. Even if they've done nothing wrong and ultimately don't have to pay up more in taxes, it's a headache and they have that could involve many hours of paperwork and expensive legal accounting assistance. Yet that's what millions of Americans will face under this IRS expansion. It's simply not the case, as proponents insist that an increased crackdown would only target the rich. And we know that's full of shit. They full of shit on that one. All right, unless they're going after the rich, that's not a part of their grand scheme. All right. It says there are 724 Hancocks. There are 724 billionaires in the U.S. and 87,000 new IRS agents. They're not going after the rich cupcakes. They're coming for you, right? Most civil asset forfeiture seizures are for less than $1,500. See that? Okay, most IRS audits are for lower income taxpayers. They go after people who can't afford to hire lawyers and fight back. Once you see it, all right. It says according to the Wall Street Journal. So basically, they wouldn't have hired so many, agents if it wasn't for, auditing the mass population. Okay. All right. So this is Congress, the Joint Committee of Taxation, Congress's official tax scorekeeper, says that 78% to 90% of the money raised from underreported income would likely come from those making less than $200,000 a year. Only 4% to 9% would come from those making more than 500,000%, right? So when you do the numbers, it makes sense what the real agenda is. This is when we consider these inconvenient realities, the inescapable conclusion is that the Democrats plan to supersize the IRS, or as they put it, have the IRS go beast mode is bad news. All right. So yeah, man. Okay. All right, so there you have it, man. I only have a few precepts because, again, this is just Esau coming down with his great wrath, man. All right, Revelations 12 and 12. But I want to do Psalms 19, and I'm going to get straight to the point on here. Psalms 19 and 3, all right? Because, hey, we know a civil unrest is coming too, all right? And a lot of these people are going to be very distraught in the coming, months. And yeah, man, it's going to make this, it's going to get really crazy out here. All right. You're going to have certain people turning against the authorities. Scripture talk about sedition among men, them not regarding their kings and their princes. All right, we're coming to that point. Okay, and this is just more, fuel for that fire. But this is fuel to make these people uncomfortable in this society as well. So this is all planned towards the Lord's agenda. All right. So Isaiah 19:3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. All right. And I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. And that's been happening over the last few years. All right. Because that pandemic, it killed the spirit. That was one of the things that helped kill the spirit, kill the spirit in this place. All right. People weren't able to go out. People weren't able to buy as conveniently as they wanted to. People weren't even able to use cash at certain places. So that pandemic really killed the spirit of this place. All right. And what did people do? You seen people in droves, especially women, go into witchcraft. As it says in the NLT, it says their idols for wisdom. It says they will plead with their idols for wisdom and call on spirits, mediums, and those who consult the spirits of the dead. And so that was running rapid in the last few years. If you brothers and sisters haven't noticed, you had a large, number of women leave the church and go into witchcraft. Hell, you among Israelites, they do that. Women among Israelites are going into that witchcraft. All right. Palm reading, tarot card readings, and so on and so forth. All right. So verse 4, it says, the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord Yahweh, the Lord Yahweh of hosts of armies. All right. I want to read in the NLT. All right. It says, verse 4, it says, I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. A fierce king will rule them. All right. And I, for one, and I speak as a man, when you look at the Biden administration, all right, what they've done to the people is what bring this dictatorial type of authoritarian, energy to the world, forcing people to, take the, the hokey pokey. And, people ended up losing their lives, losing their jobs if they didn't take it, and now, there's more measures being put in place. Okay. They're taking rights away, and now they're about to, watch over your finances like a hawk. Okay. And seeing what you're doing with your finances. All right. If you owe any money, to the IRS or anybody, they're gonna make you pay. All right. And they're gonna make you pay, probably with jail time, probably with more fees, and you having to hire lawyers and all this other stuff, but it shows you that that the squeeze is real. All right. And it's only getting harder. Okay. Despite what's going on, you would think they would bring in relief and aid, because the shortages, and then the crazy, not the crazy things, but the things that's going on in the world, like the floods, like there's all sorts of distresses that's happening right now. People losing their land. There's fires consuming land. There's all sorts of things, man. You would think they would put money towards relieving people and helping people out, but no, you're seeing people, you're seeing the powers that be add more stringent laws secretly, okay, in the guise of helping you out. All right. So next precept. All right. So the Lord's gonna set over this place a cruel master. All right. And I think anybody that from Biden on forth, man, there's going to absolutely be nothing more than cruelty being done to the citizens in this world. All right. But this is 2 Ezra 8:51 or 50. And it reads, okay, It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. So the Lord is addressing pride through what? These different measures that's being set up by, the leaders that he is allowing to rule. Only he will let, all right, until these people be taken out of the way, as it says in 2 Thessalonians. The Lord is allowing these things to happen first and foremost. Okay, and it's important to pay attention to these things and understand why these things are happening. The scriptures talk about, be therefore circumspect, understanding the will of the Lord, okay, in Ephesians 5:15. Okay, because this world is going to shit, and yeah, we're going to feel the brunt of it, but at the same time, really, it's not going to affect us. Okay, now it might wear us out, but it's not going to be to the point where it destroys us like it's going to destroy these regular citizens. It says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. All right. We're seeing, man, every measure, every, everything that the devil is putting into play as far as policy is concerned is only evil. It's only evil more. And it's only strenuous. The scriptures say, they shall wear out the saints. Not only just the wickedness that's being pushed on a high level, that's one aspect of wearing us out. But these different measures when it comes to, them overseeing our finances, us not being able to, soon not being able to go out and buy things like we normally would, these are things that's going to, really wear us out, but we're better is the end of a thing than the beginning. So, it's beautiful that we're at the end. Okay, it says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Wherefore be not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. All right. And so, don't be unwise, and be affected by these things that's going on in society, but rather be understanding of what the will of the Lord is. And the Lord is corroding this place, corrupting this place from the inside out. And the closer we get to the end, the more belligerent, the more irate the society is going to be, the more these, the people are going to be in uproars. So yeah, man, and that's pretty much all I had. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, to you, Akim and Aqua, that's paying attention to the times, man. All right. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.